the latest tech.
I'm Alexa. I can answer your questions.
Interviews.
And we are evolving, and we are seeing an amazing opportunity that's happening.
Accessibility.
Accessibility is one of our core values. It's even a part of our mission statement.
This is DoubleTap TV.
Welcome to another edition of Double Tap TV. Thank you guys so much for being with us each and every single week. Thank you for reaching out by email, feedback at AMI.CA, of course, the email address. On all social media, it's at DoubleTap Canada. And don't forget that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap, so that you can, get to us faster. And if you're not already subscribed to our podcast and everything else we do, then please get on that. I am Mark AFLALO. As always, Stephen Scott by my side. Stephen, how you feeling this week? It's like it's the end of our proverbial season. I mean, even though we have reruns of the summer and then we come back, we've got town halls, all that fun stuff. I feel relaxed. I feel a weight lifted off my shoulders for just a couple of weeks as we head into these couple summer months.
Yeah, I love doing this. So, I don't feel anything other than sadness that we will not be together again until the town halls. But at the same token, you know what? I love that end of school feeling. That kind, when the teachers would bring in a video of, a Japanese movie just to get you to leave the school early. Because I was one of those kids, I used to hang around the school, I'd wait till the very, very last moment to leave. One of those really irritating children who just would not go home. And I was one of those, So, I like this kind of time, I like this, just chilling out, playing board games and watching Japanese movies.
Nowadays they've replaced the Japanese movies with Netflix. So the kids these days, they're watching
and they
Disney Pixar movies, and they want to keep them there for some reason. I have no idea. But you know what? End of a season for us means let's celebrate a bit and let's clear out the inbox, most importantly. So this week what we're doing is another edition of Ask Us Anything, the summer edition, which means, Stephen, that we're going to welcome a friend. We are welcoming and joined by none other than Mr. Sean Priest. Everybody, round of applause. Sean Priest from Double Tap Canada, thank you so much for being with us this week.
Thank you.
We bring you on, Sean, because we just don't have all the answers. That's really the gist of it at the end of the day. We just don't have all the answers.
And it's cheaper than an actual expert, let's be honest.
This is a very, very good point. We have to, at the end of a season, we got to look at the budget and say what's left. And when we have negative numbers, we call Sean Priest. It's great. It's great like that.
Exactly.
So we're getting to your questions. We're getting to your questions this week because you guys send us a lot of questions by email, by you tweet, you send us, voicemails and such like that on all the various shows that we do. So you want to dive right into it, guys, and just kick things off and just go head first? Okay. Here's a question from Penny, who writes us from Saskatchewan. Okay. I'm low vision, and I'm really struggling to see my computer keyboard. What can I do to make it easier? Okay. Stephen, shall I defer to you?
Yeah, okay. Well, this is an interesting timing because my wife is going through the same thing. Well, actually, it's a similar thing. So she uses a keyboard for her work, but she uses a large print keyboard. Now, I don't know if you're aware of these, Penny, but you get large print keyboards. Now, there's two ways to do this. You can buy keyboard stickers that you can attach onto your keyboard. But I have to be honest, guys, this never works out. And if you're blind trying to do this for your wife who's, got low vision, this is a nightmare because you get the keys on all the way wrong way around and it's suddenly DASF instead of ASDF and all that. So, that can be a problem. But you can actually buy keyboards that have got the large print bill on with, actually a range of different options. So, for example, you could get white keys on a black keycap in large text. You could get yellow keys on a black background, or the opposite way around. Basically, you can have different contrasts that suit you, and you can buy those. And what's cool is nowadays, it used to be the case you used to get them and they were always wired keyboards, USB wired. But you know what? We all like Bluetooth keyboards now, and you can get them even in Bluetooth style. You can even get Apple style keyboards that have multi-device, all with the large print keys added on. I just got one from my wife. It's a really cool keyboard. It's that Apple Magic Keyboard style, but it's actually got those large letters on it. So in her case, she's got black letters on yellow keys, and she can see that much easier. But it's also a multi-device, so she can connect it to her Surface Pro, she can connect it to her iPhone, she can connect it to any other device she wants to, even the Apple TV if she wants to, or she wants to maybe use a different computer. She can hook it up to that on Bluetooth and just automatically switch between. So yeah, there are lots of options out there. Check companies like Frontier Computing, ask the CNIB. There are lots of different options available.
That brings up a thought for me is I wonder if these soft keyboards, whether it's on the Surface Pro or on, even the iPad, I mean, I know in dark mode you can switch the contrast, but in high contrast mode, does it really affect the keys as well to make it easier to see them? Can you enlarge that as well on those soft keyboards?
Well, that's a good question, actually. Now, I'm not sure about the answer to that one. Sean, have you any idea on that? Because I don't know if you can change the contrast of the on-screen keyboards.
Well, if you're using the built-in magnifying option, I think you can, and I think like on the iPhone smartphone, you can choose whether you want the keyboard magnified as part of that or just the main screen above the on-screen keyboard magnified. I don't know. I think it's slightly more tricky in Windows when it comes to the invert colors on the on-screen keyboard. It's something I haven't used a lot, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was an option.
Sean, another question comes in. This one from another Sean, spelled a little bit differently, SHAWN from Vancouver. He says he's back on the road again and flying a lot. Is there any good backpack or carrying case I should consider when traveling that makes it easier? I'm totally blind. That's a good one.
Oh, yeah, no, that's good timing because I've just heard from a listener who was talking about the very same thing. And I would say Stephen is the man to go to for backpacks. And he's got thousands of them. But for me...
It is ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
It's like my wife's handbag collection in here. Different backpacks. It really is. It's ridiculous.
There is something called Scotty Vest. That's SCOTTEVEST.
No relation.
Now, that's something, that's a whole range of clothing, but the cool things about these are the amount of pockets they've got.
Oh,
and
these are like the tech clothing where they have a pocket for your iPad.
Exactly right. In one of the vests, there's actually space for a laptop. I mean, it's really, and the cool thing as well is that on some of them they have embroidered patterns on the pocket, so you can almost organize by the embroidered pattern, and you can feel what's in there. If we're talking about traveling, which is primarily what these are designed for, going through airports or whatever, if you got your passports or tickets or whatever in that pocket. But more than that, they've also got built-in cable lining or channels, so you could have a battery charger in one pocket, and the cable for that would go through these built-in panels and go to wherever your smartphone is stored in the other pocket. Absolutely amazing. They've got vests, they've got coats, they've got t-shirts with built-in pockets. So I would absolutely suggest you look into one of those. And for traveling especially, it makes it so much easier because you can get everything that you would have in a carry-on bag just in your vest. It makes traveling such a breeze.
But the cool thing about that is that you can take the whole thing off. So if you've got all your stuff in there, in that vest,
Yes.
You can just take the vest off at the airport, put it into that tray to go through the scanning, and you don't have that hassle of, I've got to make sure I've got my keys, I've got to make sure I've got everything from the tray. I don't know about you guys, but I do that,
Hang on. You actually don't have that hassle of walking through the security with wires scanning through absolutely everything and looking like you're a terrorist.
There is that
That's
as well.
what's going on here.
Maybe you might want to let the authorities know before you travel, because I think we would all end up on a watch list if we walked through like that.
There's a company called Alpaca that makes some great, I call them man purses, but they're like, little sling bags that you can kind of throw over your shoulders. So if you don't have that much to carry, I love using this when I'm doing short haul trips. You could fit like an iPad mini in it, your phone, again, a battery pack, and you could shove your wallet and all your stuff in there as well. Again, not very easy to categorize things and no real tactile feedback there, so I don't know how well it would work for sorting things out. But it's good if you don't have that much going on when you're traveling. So I'd recommend checking out Alpaca as well, guys.
Pockets, that's all you need. It's just pockets, because that's what it's about for organisation. And you know what? That's not unique to blind people, right? We all want to be organised. We all want to be more organised in travelling. And I think getting back into the spirit of travelling again, it's quite nerve-wracking as it is. These kind of things, they could help.
Guys, we got to take a quick break. We're talking all about your questions that you've sent us over the past season. It is Double Tap TV with Sean Priest this week and Steven Scott. I am Mark AFLALO. We'll be back in just a second.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit AMI.CA/DoubleTap. This is Double Tap TV.
We are back on Double Tap TV talking all things you and your questions that you've sent us all season long. I am Mark AFLALO with Stephen Scott every single week, and we're joined this week by Sean Priest from Double Tap Canada, which you can hear on AMI Audio every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, right, guys? Let's dive into another question here because we're just motoring through these. This comes from Cam. He writes, I'm starting out with a YouTube channel, and as someone with low vision, I can see a little of the camera screen, but I'm struggling with all the controls and features. What's a good camera to record my videos on? Oh, I think, Stephen, I know where you're going to go with this one.
Yeah, I think you do. I mean, I know you're going to be thinking about DSLRs. I'm thinking you'd probably suggest something like the Sony, what's that new one that came out, the DV, or was it the DV1?
The A7, it's one of the A7, the A7R4, I believe it is, or the A7.
Oh, there's that one. Well, that one as well, exactly. That's the new one, which has got a screen reader built in. Bizarrely,
yes.
But it's a difficult one with that one because although I'd love to jump up and down and say, hey, it's brilliant, it's got a screen reader. The screen reader only goes so far in the menus. It's not a fully featured screen reader inside the device. So it's a lot of money to spend on something like that. When you're not getting the full feature. So I'd maybe hold off. Did you know, though, that your iPhone, and I know you're going, here we go, iPhone, there should be an alarm ringing, oh, here we go, klaxon. But no, iPhones with VoiceOver turned on give you so much information, right, Sean? You get so much information from your camera, taking pictures, taking videos. You can know when heads are in shot, how many people are in shot, where they are. You can explore your surroundings, you can take videos, and you know what you're taking. It means you're not going to have a video taken with heads cut off anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the iPhone camera is amazing. So you can record in 4K or HD, and you can connect a mixer or any audio equipment to it as well. So if you want a nice microphone, you can plug that in through a Lightning to USB adapter. There's so many holders you can get, stands and grips and tripods to hold specifically an iPhone. So absolutely, I think it's a fantastic way to get into it and definitely the most accessible.
We got a question here from Andrew in Quebec who writes, I'm inspired by you guys. Well, that's rare. I want to create a good podcast that sounds as good as you guys make it sound on Double Tap Canada. What should I buy? Well, I could take this one.
Go for it. Yeah, I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with this, so please.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to go with this, to be perfectly honest. I think that really budget plays a major role in this. The biggest thing about a podcast is your microphone. At the end of the day, it's the microphone in which you capture that sound in. And we've talked about this in Double Tap Canada, and anybody who asks me this question, in the $300 range, or just even under $300, you can get yourself a little kit with the Shure MV7, which is a USB microphone. Also has XLR if you want to go analog on it. Has controls on the top of the microphone itself. There's a little toggle between mic on, mic off. Your headphone settings, you can plug your headphones directly into it, which allows you to hear yourself recording in real time. You can get the stand with it in this kit if you get it on Amazon right now. The Shure MV7 sounds amazing, and it's really good for rooms that might be open and a bit echoey with ambience around, because it does what's called rejection. It rejects a lot of the other sounds that are going on there, and it focuses in on your voice and what's right in front of it. So if you want to make sure that you sound the best that you can, definitely dive into that mic. If you don't have that much money to spend and you want to go a little bit less, look for the brand names. Look for the companies that have been in the audio business for a very long time. Shure, Sennheiser, Rode, Audio-Technica. Everybody has a USB option these days. And also, don't dismiss that device of yours. If you have a room that is quiet, then the actual microphone on your iPhone is pretty good. I don't know if you've ever listened to voice memos or had an HD FaceTime call. It sounds pretty good, and you can make yourself sound great. And then, really, it's all about software at the end of the day, because what you can do afterwards with that sound is absolutely amazing in terms of, cleaning up noise, making something that sounds a little thin or tinny sound more rich. Lots of things you can do, and there's free software there like Audacity. A lot of these companies give you free software with the microphones.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree totally. And also, just be aware of the environment you're recording in. You can have the cheapest mic in the world, but if you've got a nice quiet room, it makes all the difference.
Yeah, that's right. And again, on the accessibility front, just to say on the Shure MV7, I recently got one of those. I found that there's a Shure Motive desktop app that you have to download, or you can download. You don't have to, but you can download it. There are some benefits to it. There's a lot of extra features in there you can tinker with. A lot of it is not particularly accessible, just a slight warning on that. However, I have, as a lot of people now do, an IRA account. So thankfully they were able to jump on and sort that out. And one thing they were able to do when they were installing the software for me was update the firmware. And that gave some new features as well and some extra controls. So, well worth, Be My Eyes or IRA, maybe getting somebody on to have a look, or even just a friend or somebody you know or trust onto your computer to set that up. Because, having that companion software is good. Audacity, again, excellent free software. We use it to produce DoubleTap Canada. We tell people this, Sean. People are amazed that we use that software. Like, why aren't you using Reaper or Pro Tools or Logic? And it's like, because it works. It does the job. And you know what? It's free. And actually, you can even buy from some companies presets for Audacity. I did this recently. Now, you're saying there, Mark, about voice memos, using your iPhone, to record on voice memos and use that audio. You add a couple of presets to that, and that audio is going to sound amazing. So suddenly you take something that seems fairly cheap and simple to do, and you make it sound incredible with this software, and it's all free.
Guys, we're going to go to a speed round here, okay? So one last question before we take a break, and we'll go to everybody for this one. Well, I'll let you take it, Sean. I hear the new Google Watch may appear soon. Do you think it'll be worth the wait? Angela writes us. Sean, go.
Yes, if you have an Android device. No, if you have an iPhone.
Stephen?
No, not if you're a fan of accessibility. Buy an Apple Watch.
Mark, what Sean said. It is Double Tap TV. We are talking all about your questions and hopefully answering them as best of our ability. Not like that question there. Sean Priest is with us from Double Tap Canada. Of course, Stephen Scott by my side. We're going to take a quick break. Got a little bit of time left. We're going to try to squeeze in 3 more of your questions. Stick around.
For more great Double Tap TV content, visit AMI.CA/DoubleTap. This is Double Tap TV.
We're back on Double Tap TV. Thank you guys for emailing us and getting in touch throughout the season. Email address feedback@AMI.CA, of course, on all our social media at Double Tap Canada with that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap. Mark AFLALO, Stephen Scott, and Sean Priest with you this week. It's kind of like Double Tap Canada, only you get to see our ugly faces. Guys, we really don't have that much time, but I want to motor through 3 more questions here before we dismiss ourselves for the season and for this week. And don't forget, Town Hall's coming up. Lots of really great stuff. We will, of course, be back with you. Okay, this one comes to us from Jason. He writes, with the rising cost of living, I'm having to cut back on some in-home services like a cleaner. I've heard about robot vacuums and such. Are they any good? And more importantly, are they accessible? Okay, well, I can definitely answer the question about are they any good. Yes, they're good for small spaces. I have one, my house has 2 floors. I've got one on each floor. Pretty good with, different levels of floors. It navigates that pretty well. Mine goes back to the base. It empties itself and continues its journey along the way. It also has a poop guarantee. If you've got a pet there or a cord or something in the way, it'll hopefully avoid that. So yeah, it's a pretty useful device. In terms of accessibility, though, I think that's going to come down to the app, right, Sean?
Yeah, absolutely. I can only talk about the Roomba app. That is totally accessible. I can set the Roomba up totally on my own out of the box, and the app, as I said, is accessible. But there are lots of cheaper options out there. But as to whether the app is going to be accessible, it's just going to have to be try it and see, really. I don't know. But as for Roomba, definitely.
Ella writes us, says, I'm looking for a new laptop or desktop computer for the house. I don't need it to be particularly portable, but I want the power of a desktop. Any recommendations? Whew! That's a good one. I mean, I like Dell these days, to be perfectly honest, guys. Dell is doing a great job with their products, a great job with their support. That's a really, really big key here, because they used to have a really bad reputation for support, and they've really come tenfold, and they've really turned that around. So I would say go for Dell, because you can get something, under $2,000, even under $1,000. That's pretty good for today's standards, as long as it has solid state storage, it has, solid state memory, of course, everything does, RAM, and a good processor there, i5, i7 if you want desktop grade or higher, or on the AMD side you want a Ryzen processor. Stephen, Sean, any other recommendations when it comes to that kind of stuff?
Well, I'll just say very quickly, I'm a little bit concerned around some of the driver issues that people are having, audio driver issues around Dell laptops at the moment. So if you're a screen reader user, you might be looking at Lenovo. That is certainly a company that is doing really well with, of course, it's one of the number 1 PC companies in the world, isn't it, that sell PCs. So, they have a great reputation, well built as well. I got a Lenovo Legion gaming laptop, which has the full-size keyboard on it. Really nice, just under the $1,700 mark. Really, really nice machine with all that power of the desktop. Not the most portable, so that might fit in with you. You can carry it around. You don't need a trolley for it, but at the same token, you probably want to plant this thing down after walking down the stairs, because it's a pretty heavy beast, but it does the job.
Okay, last question here from Taylor. I'm totally blind and in the market for a small kitchen timer style device. Ideally, it wouldn't make any noise, as I want to use it in meetings or when I'm doing presentations. Any thoughts? If it helps, I read Braille but can't find anything like a Braille timer on the market. Okay, I've got one for this, guys, okay? Apple Watch or any smartwatch. You could set a timer on there, it vibrates, it clicks on your wrist, you wouldn't even know that it's going on, people around you won't know what's going on. I think that's probably the best one. A little bit expensive for just a timer device, but anything else you can think of?
Around the price mark, you could actually get a smartwatch with a difference called the Dot Watch, which is actually Braille. It's interesting you mentioned that you read Braille, Taylor, because this is a Braille display watch. And of course it has a stopwatch function in there, which is really cool. I was looking for something similar actually for doing the show, because I've had issues reading the timer as I go along. So it'd be kind of nice to have something tactile. Also, if you've got a Braille display already, there's stopwatch features inside some of those Braille displays. So if you've got one of those, Taylor, check that out. It might already be inside your Braille display. And that would also give you the ability to have a stopwatch, and again, silently give you that stopwatch and that information without it coming out into the room.
Guys, thank you so much for being with me this week, and of course, each and every single week. It's been a pleasure answering your questions. Please send them in, feedback at AMI.CA, of course, on social media. Do not stop reaching out using that hashtag, which is AskDoubleTap. On behalf of our guest, Sean Priest, this week, and Stephen Scott, I am Mark AFLALO. We will catch you again on our next edition of Double Tap TV.
Hosted by Mark AFLALO and Stephen Scott. Editing Jordan Steeves and Mark AFLALO. Voiceover Anna Vicino. Integrated Described Video Specialist Ron Rickford. Coordinating Producer Jennifer Johnson. Director Production CARA Nye. Director Programming Brian Perdue. VP Content Development and Programming John Melville. President and CEO David Arrington. Copyright 2022 Accessible Media Inc.